Okay, so yesterday we talked about just the adding and subtracting part. And so this is the multiplying and dividing of one-step equations. And so I want you to look at this first example. And so it says negative 5v times v equals 25. Okay, so we're going to stay with that same process we used yesterday. We're going to draw a line. That's too big of a line. Sorry, guys. Okay. We're going to draw a line down that equal sign. Okay. Once that is done, we're dealing with the variable. Okay. So what is happening to the variable when a letter and number are next to each other is it is multiplying. So this is technically, there would be a dot there or a multiplication sign. Well, the opposite of multiply is divide. So we're going to do the same thing like we did yesterday. What we do to one side, we do to the other. But the opposite of multiply is divide. We take our sign with us. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 5. This is going to cancel out. This is going to leave you v. 25 divided by negative 5 is negative 5. So plug that back into the formula just to check it. Negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. Yes, that's 5 times 5 is 25. So it checks out. Okay, so example 2 talks about a division problem here. It has a division instead of multiplication. So we're still dealing with the variable. So I'm going to draw that line down the side, down the center. I'm going to, instead of dividing by 5, the opposite would be to multiply. So we multiply both sides by 5. So that cancels that, and then I multiply by 5 here, and I have x left over here, and then 10 times negative 10 times 5 is negative 50. So to check my problem, I would put it back in. It says negative 10 is equal to negative 50, divided by 5. Okay. So negative 50 divided by 5 is negative 10. So negative 10 equals negative 10, and that checks out. Okay. So moving on down to the exercises. We're going to graph here in just a minute, but we're going to go through these exercises. Okay, 13 and y are multiplying. The opposite of multiply is to divide. Divide both sides by 13, and you get y equals 1. So we could check it. 13 times 1 is 13. That's true, so it checks out. Number 2, x divided by 2 equals 26. Well, the opposite of divide, as we said earlier, is multiply. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2. That cancels. It leaves me x on the left side, and then 26 times 2 is 52. And then if we checked it, 52 divided by 2 would equal 26. Okay, 3. Now, this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. So what's happening here is 7 and k are multiplying. Remember, we deal with a variable side first. So this is a multiply. The opposite of multiply is to divide. So I'm going to divide this side by 7. Now I can leave it as k equals negative 3/7, or I could divide it out. 3 divided by 7, and go ahead and divide that out and see where I get. But I'm just going to leave it as this for right now. Okay, number 4. Okay. 7 equals negative 8.5k. So 8. Okay, we have number 4. 7 equals negative 8.5 times x. Remember, they're multiplying, so the opposite is divide. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 8.5. Now, that's kind of getting a little trick here. Okay, so 7 divided by 8.5, we know it's going to be negative because a positive divided by a negative is a negative. So we're going to scoot that decimal over. 85 won't go in there, but it'll go into 700 8 times, I believe. 68, and we could keep on going. Get 20, give 200. It would go 2 times and be 170. Could go in here 3 times. And it could keep on going, but we're going to leave it as, we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to go, this is the 10th spot. I'm going to look back. It's 4 or less, so I'm going to stay at 0.82. Okay, number 5. Negative 7x equals negative 28. Okay, 7 and x are multiplying, so the opposite is to divide. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 7. That's going to cancel and leave us x on that side. And then negative 28 divided by negative 7 is going to be a positive 4. 6 is negative 5 equals g divided by 15. Well, the opposite of divide is to multiply. So remember, we're multiplying both sides. So g equals 15 times 5 is 75, and it's going to be a negative 75. Okay, number 7. Okay, here's where we're going to graph it. So 35 equals b divided by 5. Remember, the opposite of divide is to multiply. So we're multiplying both sides. So 35 times 5 is 175. So 175 equals b. So if I were to graph it, I would put 175 just right here and graph it just like that. So we're going to get into some less than and greater than here in a few days, and I just wanted you to get the idea of graphing. Okay, so 49 equals negative 7y. Negative 7y and y are multiplying, so the opposite is to divide. So y equals negative 7. So we are going to have negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. We're going to have a closed dot on that. We're going to say y equals that. Okay, our last one. It's dividing, so the opposite is to multiply. X equals 620, so we would say like 610, 620, 630, 640. We can put a closed dot on 620. Okay, so that wraps up where we're at on the notes, and we're going to get into less than, greater than signs in a couple of units, but this is just that basic one-step dividing, multiplying and dividing.